Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I'm very pleased to welcome you all to this session. On behalf of Nereus, the Network of European Regions Using Space Technologies, we would also like to thank ERSC for this great invitation. And just to shortly inform the audience, Nereus is an association of regions. We promote the use of space technologies, but also we bring the interests of local and regional authorities, of the public administration at the European level, especially in areas such as climate adaptation and sustainable development. Today's discussion, as nicely said by Emmanuel, will be focused on climate change challenges at regional level and how Earth observation-based services, such as those developed in VALORADA and OCEANIDS projects, can support local and regional authorities. I'm very proud because today I know all speakers and I think we all know each other in this panel discussion. We are very lucky because we brought together speakers from both sides, so the service provider and the end user. So I really believe that the discussion would be very rich. But let's dive into the subject matter. And I would like to first introduce the representatives of the regional authorities, Vasiliki Mandulka and Carlo Massetto. Both they represent coastal regions. So Carlo represents the Veneto region, it's an island, and in Italy, and Vasiliki Krita in Greece. So I would like to address the same question to both of you. What are the main climate change challenges in your region is facing at the moment? And I would like to ask the feedback from Vasiliki first. Also, for your knowledge, Vasiliki is the head of the Department of European and International Relations of the region of Crete. So please, Vasiliki, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Margarita. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak about the problems that Crete is facing because of the climate change. Well, as a Mediterranean island, Crete is very much exposed to the accelerating impacts of climate change, from desertification to coastal degradation. These challenges, of course, are not only environmental, but also they affect the communities, the livestock, and also the cultural heritage of Crete. Well, the following key climate-related impacts are recently been observed in Crete. And first of all, and for all, is the rise of temperature. Well, over the past decade, Crete is facing an increase in average temperature, and this is not only that the effect is not only that we have a hotter summer, but this is stressing agriculture, reshaping ecosystems, and also increase the energy demands for cooling. Another problem is water scarcity, of course. Prolonged drought and declining rainfall have brought reservoir to critical loss. Many of the dams that supply Crete's main cities are operating at emergency capacity. Another serious problem is the increased wildfires. We are recently observed that the wildfire season is getting earlier, is coming earlier. And even in the areas that used to have snow at that period, that are in high altitude. Of course, this is because of the drier vegetation, the low humidity, and drought conditions. So the fire risk for the island is higher now. Well, extreme weather events, another problem. Crete is experiencing more frequent and severe heat waves, floods, storms, and cold snaps. And all of these are pressing the infrastructure and the ecosystems. Another problem is public health threats. Climate-driven health issues, especially cardiovascular and respiratory conditions, are on the rise. In response, a new platform is being developed and to alert at-risk groups when environmental conditions are becoming worse. And to conclude, the agricultural disruption, drought has affected olive oil production and in general agricultural activities, which is very crucial for Crete economy and culture. So the climate change impacts are visible along Crete's coastline mostly, and of course to some key locations, such as the port of Heraklion, which is a pilot site for the OCEANIDS project. The major concerns include sea level rise. That is a growing threat for Crete, and especially the coastline. Projection estimates that there is an increase up to 0.85 meters up to 2100. And this is, of course, will get at risk the infrastructure, the coastline infrastructure. Of course, coastal erosion, rising sea levels, and stronger winds, storms actually, are accelerating erosion along Crete's coastline. Coastal erosion in Crete is no longer a slow creep, it's a fast-moving crisis. And in the end, maritime hazards, intensifying winds and wave conditions are reducing safe docking windows, especially for cruise ships. And this is a very severe impact for Crete's tourism. So to all this, Crete is actively responding with a regional climate change adaptation plan that includes early warning systems, educational campaigns, and of course the cooperation between local authorities, scientists, and the community. But to tell the truth, it's a race against time. And of course, these challenges go beyond infrastructure and monitoring systems, and they pose broader implications for economic resilience, public safety, and regional development planning. Therefore, climate adaptation for Crete requires integrated tools and policies that address the interconnection between maritime and environmental systems. Thank you.
Vaso, thank you very much. Numerous challenges. I don't know where to start and where to end, really.
That's why I told
so
you in
that
the beginning.
we keep this point because we will need it during the discussion. Thank you very much. Just to remind to the audience that if there is time available at the end, we will dedicate it for questions, also for our online audience. So feel free to write your questions in Slido. Next, Carlo Massetto represents the Veneto region. Veneto region is also a Nereus member, the founding actually Nereus member. Carlo is a GIS and remote sensing specialist at the Veneto region, and he is also the chair of the Earth Observation Working Group of Nereus, supporting, of course, European projects focused on Copernicus services in parallel. Carlo, the same question applies to you. What is the challenge in your region regarding climate change?
Okay, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the questions. I heard what Vasiliki said to us, and I can say that our region as well facing a similar problem. There are, in fact, a wide range of climate change related challenges, and that need urgent responses and strategic measures to be put in place. As the reality of the Crete, coastal and marine ecosystems are currently under pressure from coastal erosion. Sea level rise also is a challenge, but in the area of Venice and the Po Delta, we are also another phenomena that is the climate change can affect in bad way. I mean the phenomenon of subsidence, because every year we record a compactation of the sediments level in the low area, and is of course a big threat for us. And we put in place a monumental engineering opera that is called MOSE, in order to protect the city of Venice. And this opera started to work regularly when we need to face high tidal levels. And the cost was very high, and is very high actually for each movement of this mobile dam. And if the provision of sea level rise for the next decades will be confirmed, I mean with the scenario that there is no cut of emissions, this dam could be enough to protect Venice. Actually, of course, this is just a scenario at the moment, but is certainly a worrying thing. These problems have an impact on biodiversity, on tourism, and infrastructures, on fisheries also. We observed recently some invasive species, especially in the lagoon ecosystems, that are currently now a problem for the economy of fisheries. And every year, our region needs to spend a lot of money in nourishment works for coastal, in order to protect the environment. Another key is spatial and urban planning, because the problem is not just for a coastal environment, but also for inland. And in fact, we observed more intense rainfall, or shifting the rainfall occurrence that causes both drought periods or flash floods. And in these years, we carried out works to have some reservoir area to in order that the river, when the flow rate is too high, can freely have an area to occupy, instead to affect the cities and villages. And also another problem is the urban heat. The urban heat in Ireland, especially in larger urban areas. These areas are experiencing higher than average temperatures, which affect public health also, energy consumption, and general quality of life of the citizens, especially in summer months. So on the other side, water management is also crucial, because the changes in the weather condition needs to put specific action to adapt to these new climate patterns, in order to save as more as possible the water. And so we need to also to develop integrated and science-based responses and we can have support from European initiatives and data service and comparison networks.
Thank you very much, Carlo. And we all know from the news the major problem that Venice has, becoming, at least we try to avoid becoming the new Atlantis, let's say, but the challenge is huge. Yeah, then we will come back to the discussion on the importance of the use of space data in this perspective. Now, I would like to present to you the next two speakers from the service provider side, Betty Haralabopoulou and Mark Tontriot. And we heard from the first round the challenges that these two regions face in terms of climate change. And today, the two projects presented, VALORADA and OCEANIDS, they target exactly this kind of issues. And I would like to start first with Betty Haralabopoulou. Betty is the CEO of Geosystems Hellas and a shareholder. She is a geologist, and she is the director of ERSC as well. She also she's elected in the board of Hellenic Association of Space Industry, where she also acts as the head of the Earth Observation Working Group and the technical director for Space 4.0. So many things to say. And now, Betty, we would like to hear from you. What are the services being developed in OCEANIDS, and what is the mission of OCEANIDS?
Thank you, Margarita, and thank you also for the possibility to, let's say, speak about OCEANIDS tools. Just to say that some time ago, working with regional authorities in Greece, we found out that there are studies done and there is data available, but there's no real use of those studies and data. And that's why we started thinking in a clever way to make an interoperable system in which existing data from the past and new data and studies running during the OCEANIDS project to give in a seamless platform the possibility to be used in a friendly way, in an easy way, from the regional and local authorities, and during the OCEANIDS project, but also after that, because the sustainability of the service is the most important. So addressing regions that are coastal, and having in mind that the coastal regions in Europe gives growth to Europe, is an economic value of those regions as add-on to the ports, to the fisheries, to the tourism, etc., is a critical point for European growth. We have formed the idea of a platform and a decision support system in which existing new data, existing new models, integration with artificial intelligence can give to these regions and ports the possibility to make measures versus the climate change. Means OCEANIDS is part of the mission's adaptation on climate change. So one major, let's say, output of OCEANIDS project as add-on to the platform and decision support system is the users, because we have 12 users, ports and regions, around Europe in 3 different climate zones to be trained to use those assets and to have continuity inside their organization also after the project implementation.
Thank you very much, Betty. And just to add also, Nereus is a partner of the OCEANIDS project, and the reason why our network, our organization decided to join the project, it's because 18 out of 23 of our regions are coastal, maritime, outermost, so you can understand how big was the need and the importance of us joining OCEANIDS. Next, I have the pleasure to introduce to you Marc Tontriot. He will speak about the VALORADA project and the services being developed there. But before that, I mean, everybody knows Marc, just to tell you as well that he was the director of Earth Observation Services in many companies, in Airbus as well. He developed his own company, Terranis, specialized in EOS services, where he's still the president. He is chair of the ERSC board. Marc, we are looking forward to your feedback.
Thank you, Margarita. And just to say before that by hearing at Vasiliki and Carlo, I'm happy to live in Toulouse, indeed, because we are facing less risk, climate risk, than the ones you have described. So just to introduce the VALORADA project, which is an Horizon project under the climate mission. The project gathers 13 partners and is coordinated by Aerion and the laboratory of Gerix in Germany. The objective of the project is twofold indeed. The first one is to demonstrate the benefits of using different kinds of data in order to help assessing the exposure of the territories to climate risk and potentially to help take decisions for adapting the region to this risk. And these data should and must come from different sources: Earth observation data, local data is made available by local institutions or national ones, and climate data as provided by ECMWF for past and future projections. That's the first objective. And the second objective is to demonstrate as well the benefits of, in each region, to have a kind of tandem between the local stakeholders, meaning the local authorities, and one service provider which is able to provide and build and customize service fitting with the local institution expectations, and by using tools and knowledge as provided by all the service providers involved in the project. So that was the objective, and in order to fulfill this objective, we have developed a stepped approach with first, of course, selecting the regional areas, and we have 5 territories in Occitanie in France, in central Greece, Bulgaria, in Czech Republic and Molise region in Italy. And in these regions, we have built up a tandem between the local authorities and service providers. Then we have discussed with the local stakeholders about the climate impact change, and in order to assess the key priorities in terms of climate risk exposures. And third step, to identify a set of indicators in order to measure, to assess indeed the level of risk exposure, and also to be used later on for monitoring potential progress made by adaptation actions once decided after the project. And the fourth step was to adapt some existing tools as made available by the different service providers, thematic tools indeed, which correspond to the different risk exposure for flooding assessment, for drought, for heat island in the urban areas, coastal erosion and soil degradation, wildfires as well. So each And we have been able to gather some tools in order to address all these thematics, not meaning typically one tool per thematic. And the last step, which is still ongoing, is to adapt indeed these tools to the local conditions by taking into account the local data, merging them with Earth observation, with climate, in order to quantify the indicators related to these risks, and by using the tools made available by the service providers. That's, in a nutshell, the objective and the way we are handling the project. We'll come back at that as well for the future.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mark. And just to add here that, Carlo, you remember, we have invited Valorada, I think, 2 times in our Earth observation working group. And there was a great interaction between our members and Valorada representatives to develop services based on their user needs. And there was a great interaction and feedback between these 2 groups. I will give you the floor now, Carlo. You know Valorada, you know OCEANIDS from Nereus as well. What do you think of these presented services? Do they correspond to the needs of your region?
Okay, thank you, Margarita. Just let me clarify before, of course, I didn't want to warn anyone. Of course, I was referring to the worst scenario evolution. Just, I didn't.
I wanted to be more poetic, actually.
Yes.
I like so much to go to
Don't take it seriously, they will not become Atlantis.
Of course, this is a scenario in many years, but without changes in, we know, mitigation and adaptation strategies. Luckily, we are still safe. Then, about Valorada and OCEANIDS, that I had the pleasure to interact already with Mark and Betty in our working group. I think they are both great projects, and I underlined some aspects that are of the both projects that are crucial in my opinion. First of all, they demonstrate how is important the integration of Earth observation data into regional planning, local planning. In fact, both of them show how EO data can move from abstract data to practical tools useful for local governments, but also for citizens. And how much is important to take decision based on data-driven decision at political level. And also this means that you can have a better, efficient policies to be put in place. And these policies are fitted to the real needs and requirement of the local reality. Then another important thing is that the capacity building, we already talk a lot about capacity building. But it is crucial in order to make, first of all, EO data accessible in easy way to a wide audience of people, not just technical people, but also citizens and politicians that they need to understand better the flow of data and how they can easily be read. And I think both of these projects bring an added value for this. That is extremely an important point, because often in the past one weak point was there are the data, but who can use, where are the sources, where can I find them? Copernicus made a revolution in this, I would say. But I think projects like this are extremely important to bring added value for this aspect. And then another important thing is the importance, demonstrate how strategic is the alignment between missions, different missions, and how investment in space infrastructures with services and climate smart application must be coordinated to avoid segmentation of information and support long-term response adaptation.
Carlo, thank you very much for your input. This is quite valuable, I would say, and I will come back to you at the end. Now, Vaso, maybe you can share your experience with the projects, and if you think that the objectives of the project can help address these challenges in Crete.
The region of Crete is implementing a lot of European projects, and OCEANIDS is one of our favorite. Yes, of course, we think that the services presented under the OCEANIDS project, and especially the OCEANIDS Decision Support Platform, are highly relevant to our needs. They support climate-informed maritime spatial planning and help us simulate and understand potential impacts such as flooding and sea level rise. These tools have the potential to enhance our resilience planning, risk assessment, and long-term decision-making. The co-design process will ensure that our regional concerns are incorporated, and we are promising potential for policy integration and real-world application.
Thank you very much, Vaso. One last question to Mark and Betty. We heard before from Carlo that capacity building is quite important, and also the fact that sometimes we don't know at the regional local level who uses space data, and or how to use to find the relevant communities. And there I would like to ask both of you, what are the main challenges in promoting user uptake, and how can awareness at local and regional level help address them? Maybe Mark, you can go first this time.
Yes, first part of the the first part of the answer would be that the situation is very different from one situation to another one. Meaning, in big cities, you can have a team specialized in geoinformation and even in some climate projections. But in smaller regions, indeed, people are not so much skilled for that. So we have to adapt. But the most important part is the story about capacity building, meaning we need to make the information and the indicators first easy to understand, and by non-specialized people, that's important, but also easy to manipulate. And for that, we have to be sure that at the end of the project, the local authorities can, by themselves, manipulate indeed the indicators and be able to adapt some calculations, which means that indeed the tools must be fully compatible with the operational tools already in use in the local authorities. So that's definitely one of the lessons learned in the project. The second lesson is related to the data. Yes, they are absolutely important. there is not relatively easy to get access to European data, meaning Earth observation or climate projections, but it's not that easy to get access to local data, which is a bit surprising, but it is the case. And just because the ownership of the data, or the responsibilities of the data are diverse, we need some data dealing with demography, data with cadastre, data with the types of crop used in the region, and all these different data have different owners. And so we have to manage, and that's a job which have been quite important to be done during the project, together with a local service provider, in order to be able to gather all these data from different local sources. And last but not least, and here it's more on our job, meaning service provider, we have to be sure that we build up a collaboration scheme among the service providers which enable us to get access to the different types of skills which are necessary to fulfill the local expectations. Just to say that today we have several service providers involved also in this Valorada project, TerraSpatium, TACT, and others. It's something which will not end at the end of the project, but something to be continued afterward in order to deliver operational services after, because that's another issue, that the project doesn't end at the end of the project. We have to demonstrate that we will be able not only to
ensure its sustainability.
Yes.
The other one. Just to add that for OCEANIDS project, we have formed a citizen engagement method since time zero, from the beginning of the project. And this helped us to have co-participation and co-creation of the tools in the platform. Just to say that by having 12 users from 3 different climate zones in Europe, like that, we covered these 3 climate zones with the exact tools that could fit to each climate zone, because that was, let's say, an agile method in order also to have possibility to multiply the users. For example, in the Atlantic zone, we do have the Région Bretagne, that they are very well-trained Earth observation users, because they have the capacity and they have the people. But again, in the Atlantic zone, we have the region of Azores, that they do face similar problems because of the climate change. They don't have the people, they don't have the capacity, but with this interaction, we managed to have user-driven applications that can be used also from, let's say, other regions and other municipalities and ports in these 3 climate zones. Also, another asset in the capacity building is that in each of the climate region, we do have a partner, which is a technological partner. Means, for example, we have 3 ports in Finland, and the ports, as we all know, they face the challenges of the climate change, and especially in close to the Arctic zone, with the change of the temperatures and the sea rise level, but also of the heavy winter, that they have to have the port open because there is a commercial life there. We had involvement in order to have the capacity building of a technological partner, FMI, the Finnish Meteorological Institute, that could also be as the supportive partner in the region. By continuing in the south, we had the Malaga port and the Malaga municipality. The Malaga port and the Malaga municipality the port is part of the city. It's one thing, geographically speaking. But the University of Seville is the technological partner that is helping there. And by coming also to Greece, we do have 3 stakeholders, the region of Crete, the port of Heraklion in Crete, but also the Ministry of Insular Affairs, that all 3 have guidance, of course, from Geosystems Hellas, who we are the coordinators, but also from ICCS, which is the ICT institute under the National Technical University of Athens. So by having in different regions the users, so the applications to be 100% user-driven, but also an expert partner, gives us a good possibility to have this capacity building. And OCEANIDS is a lighthouse because on top of that, we have 3 organizations. We have CDP, we have NIREUS, and we have EARSC as partners that gives the floor to have better communication, better dissemination of the offering, because the offering shall not stay only in the 12 stakeholders involved as partners, have to be used also, because can be used, we are speaking for digital tools and Earth observation, can be used in regions and in ports that are in the next country or in the next region than the one which is a partner, and like that to have an enlargement. And this is, in my point of view, the capacity building. And like that, we can see a Europe facing the climate change, and we are also very happy that OCEANIDS was inserted in the Mission Adaptations project, because this means that Europe understands the schema and the agile approach of the technology, but also the social innovation, because this is social innovation for Europeans in order that we move forward.
Thank you very much, Betty. Indeed, we should keep the dialogue between regional authorities and service providers to reach these outcomes. Before we close, do we have time for 1-2 questions from the audience? The ones I see in Slido, it's for us, right? Okay. Maybe the first one, after the example of next-gen funds, will try to use regional structural funds in ESA? But I don't know if this is relevant for us. I think no. Are you using? It's relevant. For whom? Sorry, Giovanni, it's you. To whom is addressed?
To the regional authorities.
Yes, please, Carlo, maybe.
Actually,
because we were talking, sorry, about the Horizon projects, and then I saw ESA, and I was thinking, where is the? But okay, yeah.
Yes, it's a difficult question. Since because I'm not so deep in the administrative or economic fund allocations. It can be, I guess, a good opportunity to use that, but honestly, I can't give you an answer, a complete answer for that question, because it's it's a political, strategic, economic question. It's difficult for me to answer.
I can perhaps try to help you. No, because it's something we already discussed a bit with Giovanni. Indeed, the issue is that the Horizon projects are quite well suited for demonstration, for demonstrating indeed that the solution exists, that this solution can be efficient, can be transferred to the operational people in the region. The question is, what happens afterward? I already said that in the industrial sector, we have to organize ourselves in order to be able to continue indeed the service provision. But the question comes about the funding. Who will finance the provision of these services? And that's an issue which we face, all service providers, when we are discussing with the local institutions, because they are not used indeed to pay for these type of services. And we all know that in addition to that, the financial situation in Europe is such that all the budgets in the local institutions are shrinking. They are big, big issues. But I see that there is a solution which is coming.
No, it's, well, I think I have a strong voice. So I don't think it's a solution. But
No.
Okay. Please introduce yourself for the audience and for the moderator, because
I'm Gilles Ollier, and I was working for the European Commission some time ago. But actually, I was asking the second question about the use of the structural funds. Okay. Because as you know, 1/3 of the budget of the Union is the structural funds, so it's huge. And one priority in the period 2020-27, 21-27, is the green transition, is the climate issue. So at the end, the member states have been using only 9.7% of the cohesion fund up to now on the climate transition, which means they have underspent. And when you look at that, there are probably huge possibilities. It's from the midterm review of the cohesion funds that has been published recently. So I think the Earth observation sector has to look at those cohesion funds, because the Commission is now revisiting the cohesion policy so that more budget is spent from the cohesion fund on the green transition, so on climate issue and so on. So I think the time is ripe to look at those cohesion funds at regional level. But the problem is that, of course, you have to tackle this with the local authorities. But clearly, there are funds there that could help probably to develop EU-based solution or action for climate. This was the sense of my message here.
No, I was going to ask the second question, but then I saw you with the hand and I gave you priority. Didn't know it was the same question. Please. Yes, Carlo.
No, I was thinking that maybe also, for example, the Interreg program could be profitable opportunity funds for this project, as our projects satisfaction that my region, Veneto region, also with Nereus, are working on this project funded by Interreg Europe, and is always focused on integration of EU data and spatial data infrastructures. Maybe this could be also a good opportunity for the future, for the next program.
Just also to add that I have seen that in many regions, specifically speaking for the Mediterranean area, because as company we mostly work in the Mediterranean area, are using structural funds. And those structural funds as outputs have also Earth observation services. The issue is that, okay, the last period, as add-on to the structural funds, Europe had the possibility to use also the recovery fund as help on the needs that they were there.
Betty,
So,
sorry, we need to close like in 2 seconds maximum.
2
Sorry.
seconds. Okay, so it's very good that we hear that there would be more structural funds available in the next period because the recovery fund is going to stop. So I think as Europeans we can collaborate, and the collaboration is a good thing in order to go forward also to those structural funds with actions that can help the citizens and also gives stability to products like the OCEANIDS and the VALORADA that have been described at this session.
I would like to thank the speakers and the audience, and we can continue the discussion afterwards. Thank you so much.